We're back. We got a good show for you tonight with Sally Field, new comedian Tony Delia, U.B. Blake is with us, and this gentleman. When you talk about funny people in this world, I can't think of anybody who has made me laugh any more than Buddy Hackett. He's an original, and he thinks funny. He kind of looks funny. He sounds funny. Well, I mean, he looks like a comedian should look, and he is one of the truly funny men in the world. Would you welcome Mr. Buddy Hackett? I don't know if you could hear back at the curtain what I was saying, and they took it like I was, when I said, you look funny. You have a comedic look about you.
Sure.
That's all I meant, not that you...
Cary Grant wishes he had that.
Cary's always wanted to look like you in light comedy.
And I'd like to look like he looks whenever he's through with it.
But you know what I'm saying. When you walk out on a stage, and I'll bet you this way, when you were a kid, you got a twinkle in the eye.
Yeah.
Physically, you have an amusing-looking face.
I'm a homely son of a gun.
No, you're not. I didn't mean that way.
I'm a funny-looking dummy.
No, you're funny-looking.
Yeah,
That's
but I
mean.
like to be funny-looking. I don't want to look like you and Ed. Good-looking, handsome, waspish-looking guy.
Mr. Mayonnaise.
I would. That's right. How would I look in my family?
Weird.
My mother would say to me, Kika wie du looks, my Kinder sind da viele verstehen davon.
Yes. You'd ruin the whole Hacker family, wouldn't you?
That's right. It would be awful. You know, you talk about mayonnaise. One time I was skiing up in Sun Valley, Idaho, and I had been there for the first time, so they didn't know my behavior pattern too good, and they really treated me like a big shot. And they gave me the Averill Harriman Cottage. Oh, very. And who had it before me was the Kennedys, and one sister-in-law left a note for the other. See, they always have one locked-up closet where whoever lives there permanently keeps their stuff.
I noticed that in Las Vegas in the Sahara house.
Oh, yeah.
There's a locked closet there,
yeah,
right?
That's my closet.
Yeah, I always want to peek in there, and I can't get in.
Joanna has the key. Let her
Really?
look.
I wouldn't do that.
You know what's in there?
More notes. I don't want to know. I envision all kinds of devices in there.
Do you ever hear this at night like this? Do you ever hear?
From the, you mean from the house?
No, do you just hear it? Because if you do, it's not coming out of that closet. Just wondered if you hear that, because it's good to check with a doctor if you hear that too often. It's called having a clock head.
Yes, having a clock. Yeah, I interrupted your thought. Anyway, they leave a note. There's one locked closet, yeah.
Yeah, so, well, me and Walt, you know, the stage manager from Sahara, Jagodinsky.
Yeah.
And Sandy, we're up there, and we decided we want to see what's in that closet. So I open it up, and there's a note from one of the Kennedys to the other one saying, Dear Ethel, we had a few things left, and we left it for you. So there was a bottle of cocoa and some other junk, you know, a can of soup and a few little things. And I thought, that's embarrassing for one Kennedy to leave another. That ain't very much.
Can of cocoa and soup.
Yeah. So I bought 24 bottles of mayonnaise and just put them in there.
Peanut butter, mayonnaise, you know.
Yeah, and then as we stayed a few days, I started thinking maybe it wasn't good enough, and then I bought some more cans of soup and a couple of white breads, but the last thing I went overboard.
Yeah?
A carp. I hung a carp.
That's real Gentile, a carp.
And they didn't come up for another 2 weeks. And they kept hearing...
Hey, speaking of locked closets,
Yeah.
Are you a curious guy? Now, I've admitted this on the air.
Terrible.
I've admitted this on the air, and people have gone, oh, how terrible. I have been known, when I go to a party at somebody's house, you go into the bathroom to use the John, to take a peek in the medicine cabinet. I don't know why. I'm not looking to steal anything. George Kaufman used to admit that he was terrible at this. He would go to people's house, and if stuff was on the desk, he would go over and actually look at... He was just a curious guy. You know, you can always find a lot about people if you take a peek in the medicine chest, you know, just to see...
What a swell idea.
Now, you've never done that?
Oh, sure I've done that.
Okay.
Are you kidding? But I don't have to be there at a party. I could just be passing a house with a door open.
And just go in? I think that's called breaking and entering. I'm not talking about that.
I'm only looking. Ain't break. Gotta catch you taking something.
Oh,
that's true.
Yeah, but it hurts your neck to do that.
Yeah?
Yeah, because you're doing this all the time.
What do you want to talk about tonight?
Well, you covered everything in a monologue that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah?
The bruise on the president's forehead, you know.
I guess that was from skiing.
Yeah, well, I've been skiing for 30 years, and you really can't make much time using your head to ski with it. I mean...
That cuts down. Yeah.
I imagine...
What was the story? Did you hear what happened? Did he hit a little rock or something?
Oh, who knows? He probably was sliding along on his head, and no one wanted to tell him that you got to use the other leg.
When you're president, it's tough.
And maybe he was just trying to take the shine off his teeth. So he was going cross country. I skied.
You ever do cross country?
No, I do.
That's really laborious, isn't it? I mean,
it's hard work, and it takes a great deal of technique. I'm a downhill skier, and it's... see, I
wouldn't think you'd be an uphill skier. I mean, but how else would you go down?
He says I have a funny face, and now he refers that I wouldn't ski uphill.
Well, when you say
what do you want me to do? Go up to the end?
Went right to the A material.
No,
Now, listen to me. What do you mean downhill? Of course you'd go downhill. You never hear of an uphill skier. That's all I meant.
No.
When you say downhill skier, there's cross country and there's downhill and there's what? Slalom? Is that what you're saying?
No, slalom is all part of downhill. Slalom means they have a trail marked with poles, and you got to turn in and out of them.
But isn't that kind of redundant? Downhill?
No, that's what it's called. I don't redund them at all. I don't... What's redundant? What is he swinging that at me for? Now you got me for stupid, too, right? A funny-looking fat guy that can't go uphill and who's stupid.
Well...
My mother right now is glad she's dead.
If she were alive today, she'd be a very sick woman. Okay. We'll do this and be right back. If you just tuned in from wherever you are, we're talking with Buddy Hackett. We have Sally Field with us, Tony Delia, and UB Blake a little later. Now, downhill skiing is different than slalom, obviously, but you still go downhill.
Slalom is part of...
Yeah, but that's where you go through the gates.
Yeah, well, in other words, the slalom is a marked course.
Right.
And downhill, you get down the best you can.
I see.
Yeah. You know, there's a little hill outside of Las Vegas called Lee Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
And they have only one lift. Well, they have one big lift, one chair lift, and a platter and a rope tow. But no one ever takes lessons there. So they don't know how to stop, the people. And they always want to... They stop by going into something soft. And I must have stopped 30, 40 people a day. I mean, I got wax up and down my back and everything. Ski wax and
I hear you're a good skier.
Yeah, I'm a pretty good skier, John. My teacher is here tonight.
Yeah?
You know Louis Dorfman, the guy I always tell about who lives with the animals and...
the lion or the tiger or something?
He's got a lion. Now, since I made him famous on this show by telling about him living with a mountain lion, he now has a panther, too. And he tells me how cute it is, so I figure it's a cub. Weighs 300 pounds.
A panther?
Yeah, and he don't have to feed it because he gets a lot of visitors. People come to his house. One guy broke in, and he left his fingerprints, including the bones. The cat
It'd
ate
give
them.
you a hasty exit, wouldn't it? If you walk in, there's a panther, there's a guard cat.
You know, Teddy Kennedy is now up in Aspen skiing.
Yeah?
And I don't know why he did that, because evidently they must need him back in Washington, and they got all that snow to lure him back.
2 feet in Washington.
Yeah. Now the weather in Washington has caught up with what they actually do there. Cold and nothing. Now, a lot has been going on. You know, I can't help but make a comment about Billy Carter. Could I?
She can comment anything you want.
I mean, I read the paper and I see that he said this about Jews and all. You know, I'm a Jew. I'm a big Jew, you know. Yeah. I'm a very big shot, very important Jew.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you're kidding? One of the most important.
The most important?
Oh, sure. So...
You have your own temple.
One guy said to me the other day, "You important Jew." Anyway, I read where he did a little expletive, you know, and he said whatever it was he's supposed to have said. You know, I'm not gonna.
No.
I don't want to get it stricken from the record here in this courtroom. But I see the questions leading up to it, and when a guy drinks a little beer, you know, and you could steam him up into saying anything. See, I mean, I'm not angry with the guy.
You have said things, have you not, at times that you maybe wish you had not said later?
My lawyer wishes I didn't say it. I get in a lot of trouble.
Sure.
I'm interested to find out now what happens with that Lee Marvin thing, because that's terrific. I got a lot of friends that just live with girls and never married them. And they always give me little grums that I've been married 24 years, and they've been having all this nice variety. Wait till they have to now pay all these back bills.
It'll be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that's why my friend Lewis got them 2 cats. When he's finished with a lady, he just tells her pack. And when she's finished packing, he lets the cats into her room. And he waits outside till there's no noise, and then he sends the luggage home to her mother.
Did you and Sherry keep house before you were married?
No.
Now, you can talk about this now. That's a long time
against
ago.
24 years ago.
Sure. Now, you never kept house before you were married?
No.
That wasn't considered the proper thing to do.
We did not have premarital relations. We seldom had postmarital relations. And, first of all, when I take a shower and shave at night and put on cologne and go to bed...
Yeah.
After that, who wants to perspire? I have found my dreams to be much more exciting than everything I've ever experienced actually with any lady friend I met before or since my wife.
You meet a wider variety of people in your dreams, don't you?
Oh, and you have a swell time. First of all, you always come out winner. You never have to say, well, I'm sorry. Woman says to you, God, that's magnificent. You giant winner. And there's not only one, there's always another one waiting.
Certainly.
Are you kidding? The other one says, not only that, in your dream, they recommend you to other women. Frida, try this, Frida. You think Harry is something? Just try it. Grab a hold of that. You want to have fun?
Your dreams are getting better all the time, aren't they?
Yeah, I can't wait to go home.
You find you have these as you get older? Do you find you have more of these sensual type
No,
dreams?
now I only get them Thursdays.
Thursdays?
Yeah, and my wife knows when I've had a dream like that because I stay a couple hours longer in the bed in the morning because I'm too tired to get out of the bed.
Do you ever wake you and ask you why you're smiling? In a dream? Yeah.
See, I found out the most important thing when I was just a young husband. Don't answer any questions when you're lying down. Sit up, stretch, drink some water, take a couple breaths, then say, what was the question, please? Because I'm lying there one day, and she says to me, if you could be in bed with any other woman, would you do it? And I said, why? Someone been asking something about me? Well, that was a problem for I never heard the end of that one. Mm-hmm. Then one time...
Would you have that theoretical question? Would you have an affair? I mean, if you were alone somewhere, do you ever get asked that question? If you were on a desert island.
Me?
Yeah,
on a desert island?
Yeah, they ask you that question.
With who?
With anybody. I mean, some lady.
A girl?
Yeah.
And you can't see no boat?
No boat. And Sherry wouldn't know.
I don't care if she would know. Well, I'm hoping she would know. That would mean I finally get off the island. but if I don't see no boat, I say to her, hey, there's no boat. No, I wouldn't even check out the rest of the island. First of all, I would tell her, in case, say we were on a liner and it sinks, and now I don't want to go through all kind of preliminaries and wait until I build a hut and all. None of that. First thing I say to her is like this. I don't know if I ought to tell you this. I'm afraid to tell you. What is it? I have a disease that if I don't have sex every 2 days at least, I will die. And the next thing I will say is,
You think they'll buy that now, huh?
Why not? Most women only need an excuse anyway. If you give them a good... What?
You see? Women say it's not all that easy.
What do you mean? That's volunteers.
Those are the girls in your dreams.
You know, it took many years before people found out that women are having a swell time, too. They really, and a lot of times I hear nowadays that they start it. Especially at the bar in Las Vegas.
It's been known to happen.
Yeah, ladies will say to you, you want to have some fun? And they have a Scrabble set. Made out of old panties.
You've been married 25 years?
24.
24.
It'll be 24 June the 12th. I'll be married 24 years.
That's a long time.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, that's right.
And in that time, divorce has never been mentioned. Murder every day.
Divorce?
Harry Hirschfield told me that many years ago.
Have you ever had a fight where you've moved out for any length of time?
No. You want to hear a great story?
Sure.
One time we having a fight, and I don't know what it's about because I never know what it's about. See, that's before I got to do the new movement where I get up in the morning and I say to her, I'm sorry. And this way I'm covered for the day.
I'm sorry, dear.
Yeah, because who knows what she's thinking, you know? So, one time we have this big thing and she says, I'm leaving, which she has said a lot of times, and then starts the pleading and wailing and cajoling and beating of the breast. And finally, I was talking to Sting, but I was kind of tired. And I said, look, you always say you're going to go, so I'm not going to fight with you no more. Go ahead. She looked at me. See, I wasn't playing the game right. So she says to me, no, this is my house. You go. I say, okay. So I go in the little dressing room, I take a black suit, 2 white shirts, a tie, and I might pick up a job somewhere, so I got to be prepared. And toothpaste and pills for gout. And I got like this, like I was years ago when I used to go to Hanson's drugstore and hang out in New York waiting for a club date in the Catskills. And I'm walking out, there was a little atrium in the yard, and she's out on a little balcony, she says, where are you going? I said, Seattle. She says, come back upstairs. I said, all right. I come back upstairs. I mean, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. Where am I going to go? If I check into the Hilton is down the street and the Beverly Hills on the other street, if I check into one of them, the desk clerk going, Hackett, 2 in the morning, checked in, and the next day it's in the paper, one of them, you know. So she says, are you sorry? I said, oh, yeah, I'm terrible sorry. Which, lucky she don't ask me about what, because I don't know. You know, it's bad enough we have a fight. I don't have to listen what it's about. So now I get into bed, and she's like this. Why were you going to Seattle? I said, of course, I have never been there. She turned, go to sleep. Not that she was so steamed. She thought I'm going to tell her maybe I once met a girl who lives in Seattle. I'm going to go, I didn't know. I'd never been there. I wanted to see it.
Well, that's fine. But you don't have fights often, huh?
No, now we don't have none anymore. Now that she has a way to channel her energy. Right. She has a business. She's a very good interior designer.
Yeah,
she's doing well.
Very good.
And she does 4, 5, 8 jobs at once. And she always asks me, do you think I ought to do this job? I always say yes. I wanted to have plenty to do. Now, there's one fight coming up, which I don't know how to avoid.
Did you know this coming?
Oh, yeah.
You want to mention what it might be?
Sure, when she sees me saying this tonight when I go home.
Will you tell her that's show business?
You'll give me a show business. Ba-boom!
We'll be right back. Sally Field is here, Tony Delia, and you'll be late.